Authorities in Mexico say 10 bodies have been found scattered around the once popular tourist destination of Acapulco. Officials have linked the increase in violence to the region to drug cartels, and the gruesome discoveries come less than 2 weeks before Mexico holds its presidential election. So joining us now for more on this is Enrico Acevedo. He's a CBS News contributor and an anchor for En Mas. What is contributing, Enrique, to the violence in Acapulco?
Well, Mexico just had its most violent weekend all year. We're talking about 280 homicides in the entire country. I think in the case of Acapulco, most experts agree that these killings, this violence has been driven by a territorial dispute among criminal groups trying to take control over lucrative distribution routes and consumption markets like the town of Acapulco. As you know, last year Acapulco was destroyed by a Category 5 hurricane Otis. And after that, reconstruction efforts have led to a flow of resources in Acapulco, and these criminal groups, they just don't want to control the distribution routes and the consumption, the drug consumption. They also want to get involved in other businesses, extortion, trying to sort of take over some of the responsibilities of local governments.
Right, follow the money. You know what, Enrique, though, often when you have countries that are tourist attractions, if there's violence, they usually stay away from the locations where tourists are because that's where the money's flowing. But it seems like not only is that particular region dealing with these gangs, this gang violence, but it's clearly seeped into the tourist area as well. This has got to be a big issue in the presidential election.
It is. I think tourism as a whole in Mexico has been, in a way, guarded from most of the violence we've seen in other parts of the country. But absolutely, Anne-Marie, I think the violence has spilled over to the election. We've seen 44 candidates, mostly candidates to local office in different states across the country, but 44 have been killed and hundreds more have been intimidated or attacked by criminal groups that are trying to impose or intimidate their way into the electoral race.
You know, we talk about elections and the attempts to curb violence, but hundreds of thousands of people have been murdered in Mexico since the government of then President Felipe Calderon launched a military offensive against cartels in 2006. So how are they I mean, we could talk about corruption. I don't know where this conversation is going to go, but how are the cartels still able to inflict so much violence? It just doesn't seem like things are changing.
Yes, I think at least the past 3 administrations have failed to curb this violence and to take control away from criminal groups, from the drug cartels mainly. I think there's a lot of factors. Unfortunately, one of the main factors here is firepower, where these cartels are getting their guns, and up to 80% of the guns seized from drug cartels are coming from the U.S. So part of the money laundered and the guns used by drug cartels are coming from the U.S., while the drugs and this violence persist here in Mexico. So I think there's a co-responsibility between both countries in order to end drug trafficking from Mexico to the U.S.
Shalom. Starting off, when they give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rokakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who all of the truth from, and Shalom to elect out there. Today's title of this lesson be Evils Are Increasing. And this goes out to you Negroes, you Latinos, and you Native Americans, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. Once again, today's title of this lesson be Evils Are Increasing. So I have a CBS News article, and it reads, 5 people, some with their hands tied and heads covered, found murdered on a road leading to Acapulco. Let's read on down for a little bit more information. It says 5 men, some with their hands tied and heads covered, were found dead Monday on a Mexico road leading to Acapulco, a once glamorous resort city now engulfed in cartel violence. Prosecutors in the southern state of Guerrero announced the discovery and said a probe had been opened to aggravated homicide. It says local media reported that residents had found the victims, 4 of whom had their hands tied, The report said the men had a variety of different injuries. It says Guerrero is one of Mexico's regions worst affected by violence linked to drug trafficking. Disputes between cartels led to 1,890 murders in the state in 2023. The U.S. State Department advises Americans to completely avoid Guerrero, citing crime and violence. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing a rise in crime and violence and also increased murder. And the homicide level is at an all-time high right now. We're seeing all hell break loose in different areas in the world, not just Mexico, over here in America. What is happening over in the streets of America? Gang violence. Also there's a lot of gun violence, criminal activity, and murder activity. The heart of many is constantly waxing cold, and we're seeing these things. Evils are increasing and wickedness is multiplying each and every day. Let's get a quick precept. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 14, verse 16, and it reads, "For yet greater evils than those which thou hast been seen happen shall be done hereafter." Let's get verse 17. It says, "For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein." And that's what we're constantly seeing right now. We're seeing evils increasing. There's increased violence going on in the streets. Murder and criminal activity is at an all-time high right now. There's a lot of gun violence going on. There's a lot of uncivilized behavior. It's like the wild, wild west out here. And we also seen, all these things come about in the last days. We're seeing everything what the Lord said to look out for coming about. Evil, war, pestilence. All these things we're seeing. Increased storms, flood storms, natural disasters are occurring. There's a lot of things the Lord is doing, but we're constantly seeing what evils being increased. Evils being multiplied each and every day. Let's read this again. Let's start back at verse 16. And it reads, "For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter." Verse 17. "For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein." Let's get another quick precept while we at it. This is the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 6, and it reads, "Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in a city, and the Lord hath not done it?" And that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing the Lord do all these things. Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai is getting real busy. We're seeing increased storms, flood storms, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes in diverse many places. Also landslides. There's a lot of natural disasters and natural catastrophes going on each and every day. A lot of evils. People getting unalive and murdered each and every day. The heart of many is constantly waxing cold. There's people having conversations that turn deadly. There's a lot of deadly casualties going on. But we do know one thing, that the Lord is doing all these things. Each and everything you see, each and every day, the Lord is moving chess pieces constantly. And we do know that the Lord is in control, and he's doing each and everything that we see every day. Let's read this again. It's the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 6. And it reads, "Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord hath not done it?" This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 5, and it reads, "The just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame." And who is the unjust? The 2/3 of our people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and you Native Americans. 2/3 of our people that are not regarding the signs of the times. They're not regarding their movements. You see the Lord putting all type of heavy judgment on people. There's a lot of things going on in the world right now. The Lord is constantly, judging people, getting rid of people, constantly doing all these catastrophic disasters that you see going on each and every day. And 2/3 of our people, they're still not regarding it. They're not seeing, they're not trying to seek the Lord, they're not fearing the Lord. That's why the Lord constantly is putting judgment upon our people. And we do know that first the judgment should start at the house of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and you Native Americans. And we know that if you're not seeking the Lord, if you're not fearing the Lord, judgment will fall upon you. And that we do know that you are seeking death if you're not seeking the Lord, and also if you're not fearing the Lord. Let's read this again. This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 5, and it reads, "The just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do inequity. Every morning do he bring his judgment to light." Every morning the Lord is putting judgment out. Every morning. Every day you turn on the news, there's some type of judgment that has been going out. It says, let's just read it again. It says, "The just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning do he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame." This is just a quick lesson. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 12. And it reads, "And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold." And that's what we constantly see right now. We're seeing the love of many waxing cold. People killing their mothers, their fathers, they're killing their little ones, their families. They're offering their aunties, husbands. They're not regarding human life. And that's what we're seeing right now. And how much more in the times of Jacob trouble, when all hell is breaking loose, when there's no 911 to call, when there's no ambulance or help to call, we're going to see these things increase each and every day. Love of many is constant waxing cold. When we're seeing it in the news, we're seeing every day, what is coming to them. People are acting uncivilized. They're displaying uncivilized behavior. All type of criminal activity, murder rate is at an all-time high. People are just not caring what they're doing. The love of many is constant waxing cold, and that's what we're constantly seeing each and every day. Let's read this again. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 12, and it reads, "And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold." This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, verse 6, and it reads, "Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near." And that's what we constantly need to be doing right now. We need to be seeking the Lord. We constantly need to be fearing the Lord right now, because all hell can break loose any day now over here in America. It's going to get real hard out here. Jacob's trouble is near, a time never seen before. Are we coming into? We're going to need the Lord for all things. There's going to be all hell breaking loose. We're going to need the Lord. And there are a lot of threats of what? Civil war. All type of all these different type of race wars, class or gender wars are about to hit the streets in America right now. Civil unrest is about to unfold. All these things you see in these purge movies, apocalyptic movies, the Book of Eli, The Robe, and many more movies, dystopian like movies you see. It's going to be the reality over here in America. It's going to get real serious. It's going to get real critical. That's why we constantly tell our people, seek the Lord. You need to be fearing the Lord, because you're going to need the Lord in the days to come. Let's keep on moving. Let's get verse 7. And it reads, "Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him, into our power, for he will abundantly pardon." And that's what we want from the Lord. We want a hedge of protection, but we also want mercy from the Lord in these days to come, because we're heading what evil days lie ahead of us. Tribulation and troubles are ahead. Calamity after calamity. Mass judgment is about to go out soon. And that's why we constantly warn our people, seek the Lord, fear the Lord, because we do know that if you're not seeking the Lord, if you're not fearing the Lord, you will perish in the days to come, and the Lord will put heavy judgment upon you. Let's read this again. This is a quick lesson. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, verse 6, and it reads, "Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the righteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him. And to our power he will abundantly pardon." So I hope this lesson was edifying. Till next time I say, Shalom.